There has never been a better time to invest in the stock market than right now. And no, this is not because of perfect market conditions or anything like that. The reason is because new investors now have an array of free investing platforms available to them that allow them to trade stocks commission free. And even just a few years ago, it was common to pay as much as $7 to $10 per trade. I know when I started investing in the stock market, I traded through Scottrade and I was paying $7 per trade. Now, there are a lot of free investing apps out there. I've reviewed most of them here on my channel, but one of the most popular free investing apps out there today is called M1 Finance. And we're going to be focusing on this app in this review today. Now, I'm going to keep this review short and highlight some of the basics here of why people like M1 Finance and areas where they may fall short. But if you want a more comprehensive review and a tutorial of how to use this app and get started with it, go ahead and click the link in the description below, because I put together a completely free 30-minute long video training on how to use and get started with the M1 Finance investing app. Now, one last thing I want to mention before I get into the review, I am affiliated with M1 Finance, so if you do use my link, I earn a commission in the process, and I do thank you for your support, as that allows me to put videos like this together. But that being said, let's go ahead and get into the review of the M1 Finance investing app. Alright guys, so the first area where M1 Finance really shines and provides one of the most useful features for investors is something called fractional shares. Now, if you're not familiar with this is the ability to buy less than one share of a given stock. In fact, with M1 Finance, you can buy as little as 1/10,000th of any share of stock or ETF that trades on that platform. Now, you may not understand how powerful this actually is until you consider stocks out there like Amazon, for example, that trade close to $2,000 per share. If you were to go out there and purchase a share of Amazon on a free investing app like Robinhood, you would have to buy one entire share of Amazon, and that would cost you, as you can imagine, as much as one share, close to $2,000. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I first started investing, I certainly did not have $2,000 sitting aside that I could put into one share of a stock like Amazon. So they take the share price right out of the equation by offering these fractional shares. So if you want to go out there and buy $25 worth of Amazon stock, you can do that through M1 Finance. So I want to go ahead and open up the app now, show you guys my portfolio, and show you what these fractional shares actually look like. So here we have my small M1 Finance portfolio that I use for basically demonstration purposes within the app. I started out with a $100 investment, and it's actually done extremely well. I'm up 21.5% in this portfolio. But as you can see here, this portfolio holds Vanguard, the S&P 500 index fund. It holds Amazon stock. It holds Apple and Microsoft. And as I'm sure you guys can imagine, every single one of these stocks and ETFs trades for over $100 per share. So if we click on one of these, for example, like Amazon, as you can see, my position here is 0.01817 of a share at a cost of $29.99, and I paid about $16.50 as my cost basis for Amazon. So I didn't have to spend $1,650 on a whole share of Amazon. I could buy just a fraction of a share, allowing me to own whatever stocks I want and to build a diversified portfolio with a much smaller amount of money. Now, another area where M1 Finance shines is by offering retirement accounts completely free. Now, as I'm sure you guys know, one of the most powerful investing tools out there is something called the Roth IRA. If you're not familiar with this, I'm going to go ahead and link up to a video in the corner that talks about how you can become a tax-free millionaire with a retirement account, particularly the Roth IRA. But most brokerages out there that offer retirement accounts have commissions and different fees associated with these accounts. M1 Finance offers 100% fee-free retirement accounts, and the real kicker here is that it's just a $500 minimum to open one of these accounts. So if you have interest in following that tax-free retirement strategy of the Roth IRA, you can open that up with M1 Finance, and the process is extremely easy. They also offer something called Rollover Concierge service. So if you want to roll over an old IRA or an old 401k from a previous employer, they will help you out with the entire process. All right, now the third area where M1 Finance shines, and the reason why dividend investors are flocking to this app, is because they offer something called portfolio level DRIP or dividend reinvestment. Now, if you guys know this or not, one of the best ways out there of earning compound interest is by buying dividend stocks. Because when you take those dividends and reinvest them, you're earning more dividends. And then you're able to earn dividends from your dividends, which allows your money to grow exponentially. Now, a lot of brokerages out there either don't offer dividend reinvestment or they charge commissions on those trades. Or the other issue you often run into is that when you have a dividend reinvestment, you're only able to buy whole shares. So for example, if you invest with Robinhood and you earn a dividend from a stock you're investing in, well, you would need to have enough money to buy a whole share of that stock because they do not offer fractional shares. So here's what happens on M1 Finance when you earn a dividend. A couple of these investments in my portfolio have dividends, and if I go over here to the Activity tab, you can see where I earn those dividends. In fact, just recently on November 14th, I earned a 5-cent dividend from Apple. October 1st, I earned 26 cents from the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, and so on and so on. So when those dividends are paid to you, they are going to go over here and they're going to be in the cash balance held within your account. As you can see right here, I have $1.15 in my cash balance, and I have this feature called M1 Auto Invest turned on. So what's going to happen here is that once that cash balance exceeds $10, they're going to invest that $10 across the entire portfolio, effectively reinvesting those dividends across my whole portfolio. And again, because you're able to reinvest those dividends and purchase fractional shares, you're keeping the maximum amount of money invested here, and you are earning that compound interest. The fourth reason people really enjoy this app is because of a feature called automatic rebalancing. So a lot of people are not even familiar with the concept of rebalancing, but essentially what it is when you have a portfolio, you're going to experience something called portfolio drift. It sounds confusing, but it's really not. As you can see here, I have 4 different stocks, and they've all performed very differently. The Vanguard S&P 500 ETF is up 17.29%. Amazon stock, surprisingly, is the worst one here, up only 7.14%. Apple is up 59.63%, which is crazy, and Microsoft is up 47.66%. So all investments are going to behave differently within your portfolio. So you may set target allocations or how much of that stock you want to own, but because they all do different things at different times, those allocations are going to drift. So on the left-hand side, you can see what my allocations were. For the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, it was 50%. For Amazon, it was 30%. For Apple, it was 10%. And for Microsoft, it was 10 as well. But because of the performance of these stocks and portfolio drift, my allocations have now skewed. So Microsoft is now 12.1% of my portfolio, Apple is 13%, Amazon is 26.7%, and Vanguard is 48%. So I am effectively overweight in Apple and Microsoft and underweight in Amazon and Vanguard. So what M1 Finance does here is as I add money to this portfolio or take money out, they're going to buy more of whatever I'm low in and buy less of whatever I have too much of. Or if I'm selling from this portfolio, they're gonna sell more of what I have too much of and sell less of what I don't have enough of, effectively rebalancing that portfolio and bringing me back to my target allocations. Now, there are literally so many reasons why people love M1 Finance, but I wanna just focus on one more to keep this video short, and that is something called Expert Pies. And it's something I have not seen any other brokerage offer, and it's a really useful feature. So this right here is called a custom pie because I built it myself. I chose these 4 investments, chose my allocations, and invested my money. But let's say, for example, you don't want to do this for yourself. You don't want to build a portfolio from scratch, and you want some help as far as what you should be investing in. Well, if you go over here to the Research tab, we can take a look at what M1 Finance has called Expert Pies. And these are expert-built portfolios you can invest in completely free. M1 Finance does not collect any fees to invest in these portfolios, and there's over 30 different ones. This includes general investing portfolios that range from ultra aggressive to ultra conservative. This also includes target date retirement funds, income portfolios, and even hedge fund followers. If you wanted to follow some of your favorite billionaire investors out there, like Carl Icahn, for example, you could replicate his portfolio. Or there's the basic just stock and bond allocations that you can invest in. And if you want to learn more about each one of these portfolios, all you do is click on it and it gives you a description, and you can click on targets and it shows you exactly what that portfolio is invested in. So these expert pies really take the guesswork out of investing and give you that hand-holding completely free. So overall, for the reasons mentioned in this video, M1 Finance is my favorite investing platform out there for long-term investors. And on top of that, M1 Finance also has great features for dividend investors, as well as target date funds specifically meant for retirement investors. Now that being said, M1 Finance is not an ideal platform for active traders, but that is simply not what the app was designed for. Now, M1 Finance can be a little bit complicated to get started with and navigate the platform, but that's exactly why I put together that free 30-minute video training on M1 Finance that is linked up down in the description below. So if you're ready to start that free training, guys, go ahead and click that link down in the description below, and I will see you there. But thanks so much for watching this video. I hope this was helpful to you, and I will see you in the next one.